Welcome to the Construction Leading Edge, the podcast dedicated to helping construction professionals become better entrepreneurs and leaders. Now, let's get started. This is Todd DeWalt, and welcome to episode 13 of the Construction Leading Edge, where my goal is to provide the tools and resources to grow your leadership skills, grow your business, and grow your income. Today's going to be a little bit different. In this episode, I want to talk about my beliefs on leadership that I've formed over the nearly 20 years that I've been in this business. We're not going to have an interview. We're not talking about tips and tricks. These are not hypotheses, but these are principles that I've used successfully in my career, and I've seen other people use successfully in their careers and have been proven to be true. Again, these are not theories. These are truths that I've learned and have found success with. They're also based on what I've learned from smart guys like Simon Sinek and Colin Powell, both of whom I will quote as we proceed. So here we go. This is what I call the Leadership Magna Carta. So the first principle of leadership I want to talk about is that effective leadership is built on the foundation of service. Let me say that again. Effective leadership is built on the foundation of service. In fact, the only type of leadership that really works is servant leadership. The typical organizational chart that shows the leaders at the top needs to be turned upside down on its head, where the leaders position themselves below and behind their teams, and where leaders take a posture of supporting their people by providing guidance, resources, wisdom, coaching, encouragement, and the challenges that they need in order to win. This organizational structure that has leaders at the top feeding off their people below them, frankly, doesn't work. Managers who say that their employees need to support them have it backwards. Leaders need to support the people that are on their teams. The people that report to them need to be supported by them. I hope that makes sense. If you think about it, some of the reasons that our country is in its current condition are because we have, one, political leaders with the primary objective of taking care of their own needs by getting reelected. We have C-level executives sitting in corner offices in their positions of corporate leadership, and their primary goals are to inflate stock prices in the short term so that they can cash out. And then we have entrepreneurs who want to raise money, start a business, and then make their, quote, big exit in a few years. These do not reflect the approach to leadership that built America, and they're not sustainable in my opinion. Servant leadership is the only type of leadership that works and is sustainable because, this is the second principle, leaders put the needs of others first. True leaders put the needs of others first. The best leaders elevate the needs of others above their own desires. One of my favorite movies is Band of Brothers. It's a World War II film, and it documents one of the airborne divisions as they went through basic training into Normandy and all the way into Germany. But in this movie, the main character is Dick Winters, and in one scene, he advised one of the officers that reported to him, and he said, "Never put yourself in a position where you can take from these men." You see, leaders look for ways to give to their team, their organization, and to society. They're not looking for ways to take from their team, from their organization, or society. They're always looking for ways to add value. One of my favorite authors and speakers in the area of leadership is Simon Sinek. I strongly recommend that you check out his writing. But when Simon Sinek asked a U.S. Marine Corps officer, why is your organization so tightly knit? Why are they so successful? The response from the officer was simple but profound. He simply said 3 words: leaders eat last. What he was referring to is this unwritten code in the Marine Corps that in any chow hall where Marines are stationed, the junior ranking officers eat first and the highest ranking officers always eat last. And that is simply a symptom of their approach to leadership, which is to put the needs of others before their own. See, there's an interesting phenomenon in our world. When we take care of the needs of others, our needs will be taken care of in return and automatically. It's the law of sowing and reaping. It's the do unto others what you would have others do unto you. You give what you get. Leaders recognize this powerful law and this powerful principle, and they tap into it because leaders always put the needs of others first. The third principle that I've found to be true with leadership is that leadership is messy. Leadership is messy. See, leaders are often traveling in uncharted territory. They're going down paths that they haven't been down before, and sometimes no one has been down before. And on these kind of paths, there are plenty of mistakes to be made, believe you me. The answers are rarely clear. In fact, sometimes it's not even clear what questions to ask. You don't even know what you don't even know. Leadership involves knowing about and getting involved with people's junk. That's why it's messy. See, without people, there would be no leadership. And wherever there are people, there's going to be personal stuff. There's going to be junk. This is sometimes a messy side effect of being a good leader. You see, when people trust you, they see you as a source of solutions to their problems. And when they have problems, whether they are work-related or not, they will bring them to you because they believe you can help. They see you as a source of information and a source of solutions for their problems. I've had people come to me with problems with their marriage, with their in-laws, with their sick kids, questions about what to do with their job situation, about their health problems, lots of things that had nothing to do with the job, but they came to me because they trusted me and they thought I could help. The problem is there's no manual for this stuff. This stuff that's off the record, that's not work related, and it can get uncomfortable at times. Some of these situations that people brought to me, I didn't know what the answers were. I'm kind of spitballing, but I was a little uncomfortable giving people advice with their kids or their in-laws or their marriage. But when someone comes for help, I try to do what I can. So it's messy, and Colin Powell was quoted as saying this. This is very powerful. The day the soldiers stop bringing you their problems is the day you stopped leading them. They have either lost confidence that you can help them, or they've concluded that you do not care. Either case is a failure of leadership. So we need to be prepared for the fact that leadership is messy. People will bring us their problems, but that is part of being a leader. The next principle of leadership is that leaders are force multipliers. I'll say that again. Leaders are force multipliers. If you look in the dictionary, synergy is defined as the interaction of elements that when combined produce a total effect that is greater than the sum of the individual elements or contributors. We see this in nature. A couple of examples. Geese flying in a V formation can travel 70% farther as a group than they could as individuals. The roots of giant sequoia trees interlock with each other to withstand wind and storms. We see this synergy happening in nature where the group, the V flock of geese is more effective and more efficient than the individuals could be on their own. The grove or the forest of sequoia trees, by having interlocking roots, makes the entire group stronger. See, leaders understand the power of collaboration. They understand that all of us is smarter than some of us, that the power of the group is greater than the sum of the individual parts. They understand the power of synergy. Leaders believe that there is greatness on the inside of everyone, and that their job as a leader is to work to figure out how to turn that potential energy that's locked up on the inside and release it into kinetic energy. A good leader makes us all better and smarter. See, a good leader is not just focused on their own performance, their own effectiveness or efficiency or productivity. They look at their job as being the person who is the rising tide that raises all boats, the force multiplier that brings the group together, eliminates the contradictions, eliminates the wasted energy, and causes the group to be so much more effective than the sum of the individual contributors. They tap into that synergy. So leaders are force multipliers. The next principle is that leaders, in fact, change lives. Think about this. Leaders change lives. Good leaders allow people to feel safe, to feel fulfilled, and to feel appreciated. These kind of people do not have stress and anxiety spilling over into the other areas of their lives. Do you realize that stress-related ailments constitute a big portion of the healthcare costs in our country? Heart disease is on the rise, diabetes is on the rise, blood pressure issues are on the rise. A lot of these have been traced back to stress and anxiety, and a lot of the stress and anxiety comes from work. People who are afraid that they're going to lose their job, they have stress and anxiety about that. So good leaders allow people to feel safe. They allow people to feel fulfilled because they give them meaning. Their job fulfills them. And then they allow these people to feel appreciated. Someone who feels safe, fulfilled, and appreciated are not going to have as many health problems as those that are scared, anxious, and frustrated and constantly complaining about their job and looking for other job opportunities. These people that are safe, fulfilled, and appreciated, they're present with their families when they're home instead of being frustrated or worried about their job. Their health is not compromised by these stress-induced ailments. They live longer, and their families are better as a result. Think about this. As a leader, we have the opportunity to think about the people on your team who are parents. You have the opportunity to either allow them to be present when they are home with their kids, which allows them to be a better parent, which allows them to raise better children, or if they're constantly frustrated, stressed out, anxious, and afraid, then they're going to carry that stuff home, and that's going to have an impact on their children, which has an impact on the next generation. So we as leaders have the opportunity to change lives. You see, inspired and empowered people tend to be more effective at whatever they do. Parenting, extracurricular activities, husbands, wives, active in the community. These people are more effective at whatever they do, which leads to more opportunities for advancement and business growth, which often results in a better quality of living. So if we put this all together, by being good leaders, we allow people to be safe, fulfilled, appreciated. Those kind of people have fewer health problems. They're better parents. They're better husbands. They're better wives. They're better sons, better daughters, better church members, better soccer coaches. And that is how good leaders change lives. And if leadership can change lives, then that means that leaders have the ability to shape a society, whether that be a community, a town, a city, a nation even, or even a business, an area of business. For example, Nelson Mandela changed political systems, economic systems, and the way an entire nation viewed human rights. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates pioneered technology that has shaped the way our society communicates and even does work. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, whether you consider him a leader or not, that man and the team that he has led with Facebook have changed the way that the internet operates and changed the way a lot of people live their day-to-day lives. On a smaller scale, two guys by the name of Ari Weinzweig and Paul Saginaw started Zingerman's Delicatessen in 1982 in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which has since then expanded to over a dozen distinct businesses in the food service industry, employing over 500 people in and around Ann Arbor, Michigan. You see, they set out in 1982 when they started their business and said, we have a vision. We want to have about a dozen or 15 businesses all in Ann Arbor, and it was based around a set of beliefs and operating principles for doing business. They've been successful in doing that, and as a result, now there are a dozen businesses all in Ann Arbor, Michigan. 500 employees and their families are being impacted by that, and they've been so successful, and the word has spread about how they do business that now there's a demand from other businesses to learn their approach to leadership in business, and the Zingerman's team has created books, courses, and other resources to spread their message. There are people that come to Ann Arbor and go through training courses to find out how they do it at Zingerman's. So on the big scale, Nelson Mandela changed an entire nation. These business guys, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and the guys at Zingerman's, they have changed industries, and they've changed the way that a business operates, and how even think about the impact to a city when there are 500 employees in a business like Zingerman's. See, people who feel safe, fulfilled, and appreciated, aside from not having health problems, they don't spend their time and energy on being anxious, about complaining. They don't spend their time gossiping or just wandering through their careers aimlessly. With the support of good leaders, people are empowered, challenged, and free to solve big problems that really move the needle in society. Just think about what Nelson Mandela did with apartheid and human rights. And what's not so obvious is that Mandela also had a dramatic impact on the economic systems in South Africa as well. So quality leadership not only changes people, but it can also shape society. The last principle: everyone can lead. Anyone can lead, regardless of where they're at. To quote Simon Sinek again, he says this: leadership is a choice. It is not a rank. Leadership is a choice. It's not a rank. According to Simon Sinek, his definition of leadership is looking out for the person on the left of you and on the right of you and putting their needs ahead of yours. Looking out for the people on your left and on your right and putting their needs ahead of yours. That's the simplest, most basic definition of leadership, which makes perfect sense to me. See, if the true meaning of leadership is distilled down to simply serving those around us and working to keep them safe, then that means that leadership is independent of title, it's independent of rank, has nothing to do with salary, and it has nothing to do with your position, tenure, or listen, even your age. Leadership is independent of age because leadership is looking out for the people on the left and the right and putting their needs ahead of ours. That means that everyone can lead. See, the leaders don't wait until they have the title or the rank or the salary or the position, the tenure, or until they achieve the age that others associate with being a leader. That's a limiting belief that people have that keeps them from stepping into leadership. Leaders simply do the work of serving those around them every chance they get, watching out for their needs, putting the needs of others in front of their own needs, and in the process, they are moved forward, taking on more responsibility. Just think about how this works. In an organization, there are people move from a position of informal leadership into formal leadership. What I mean by that is the people who are in a leadership position in the company, they're looking at their team and they see the people that are solving problems. They see the informal leaders who may not have the title, the rank, the position, but they see the people that others are coming to for their solutions. They see the people that are trusted. They see the people that have the respect and the trust of others in the organization, that are naturally leading in advance of getting a position or a title or a rank. Those are the people that get promoted. Young people, listen to me. If you are waiting for someone to give you a title, give you a promotion before you start leading, you're going to wait a long time. If you feel called to leadership and you want to take on that responsibility, then begin leading where you're at. Serve other people, serve the people to the left and the right of you, take care of the people on your team, make them feel safe, add value to their operation, take care of your customers, lead where you're at, and eventually the people in your organization will see that, and you or people outside of your organization will see it, and they will give you the opportunity to lead. But leadership doesn't start with a rank. Leadership starts with service. So there's my Leadership Magna Carta. Maybe it's part one. I don't think that's the whole thing, but that's what I believe about leadership. And I'll just recap those few items. Effective leadership is built on the foundation of service. Leaders put the needs of others first. Leadership is messy. Leaders are force multipliers. Leaders change lives. Leaders shape society. And lastly, everyone can lead. So now what? What do we do with this now? You're probably wondering. That's great. If you're listening to this, that means that you probably want to grow as a leader. You have some interest in leadership. If you're listening to this, then you're either currently leading people or maybe you're preparing yourself to become a leader. If you're listening to this, then you want to have a positive impact on the lives of your team members, your employees, and your customers. So do this. If this podcast resonated with you at all, if you want to get plugged into more information like this, I want you to go to the website, constructionleadingedge.com, and click the I Want to Join button. It's free, and this will allow us to stay connected so I can send you information and find out what you want to learn more about. I want to build a community of like-minded leaders where we have access to each other's learnings, where we can share best practices and learn from each other. I don't pretend to have all the answers. I see my job as being a curator of information, finding good information, whether I come up with it on my own or if it's information that you guys have come up with. I want to be able to curate that information and share it because, going back to synergy, we all get better together. Ultimately, we're all in this thing together. So, again, if this resonated with you, go to the website constructionleadingedge.com and click the I Want to Join button. You can also follow the short link constructionleadingedge.com/join and put in your name and email address. That'll get you on to the membership site. It's free. I won't spam you. I won't sell your information, but that'll make you part of this community, and I'll send you some information as it becomes available. Now, I have a question for you. A couple of questions, in fact. Do the people on your team that you manage need some training in the area of leadership? Are you looking for a training program for new hires or maybe the up-and-coming leaders in the company that you're running? Maybe you're not running your own business, but maybe you're a project manager or an up-and-coming project engineer. If you're an up-and-coming leader, would you like to get some more in-depth training on leadership specific to the construction industry so you can move up in your organization, take on more responsibility, maybe get a promotion, make some more money? If so, then I'm really excited to announce something that I'm going to be working on, that I've started working on, and it is what I call the Construction Leading Edge Bootcamp, which will provide more in-depth training and resources. I asked the members of our community what they needed help with, and the consistent feedback was that a program like this Construction Leading Edge Bootcamp would be very helpful. So if you're interested in learning more, do the same thing that I said previously. Go to the homepage and click the I Want to Join button, or simply go to constructionleadingedge.com/join, and you'll receive updates on this program as it develops, and then you'll even get access to some early bird discounts potentially. So, very excited to announce that stuff that's coming up. Now, speaking of things that are coming up, if you're curious to know what's in store for the podcast, a couple things I can tell you. I'm working on an interview with one of the leaders of the Lean Building Institute to learn about lean design and construction. Should be very interesting. I'm also working to set up an interview with the owner of one of the most successful woman-owned construction businesses in the Southeast. So very interested to hear her story. And then lastly, I'm going to do an episode that's going to get inside your head and talk about the psychology of being successful, and specifically the limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck, and how we get past these limiting beliefs so that we can move forward and be successful. What I found is that the mindset and the head game is where a lot of the roadblocks are when it comes to leadership and business. So that's it for this episode. Again, if this resonated with you, do me a favor. 2 things. 1, share it with someone that you think would also resonate with this. And 2, go to the website, join the membership, join the community so we can stay connected. If you have questions, suggestions, feedback, email me at todd@constructionleadingedge.com, or hit me on Twitter at conleadedge. Thanks, guys. This puts this one in the books. Until next time.